Shaun Toohey is not a stranger to city government. In fact, he has run for state senator as well as being on the Haverhill School Committee, and now he's decided to make a run at this point in time for Haverhill City Council. We're very pleased and fortunate to have him here to answer a few questions for us. Welcome, Shaun.
Thank you. Great to be here. Good to see you again.
I know that you're very much into public service, but tell us what your big compelling factor was to decide to make a run for city council.
Well, it really hasn't changed over the years. It's as long as, a lot of people ask me, why do you continue to run, Shaun? And it's very simple. It's as long as I can have a positive impact on my children and the citizens of Haverhill, and as long as I feel I have the determination to have an impact on them, I'm going to continue to run. So I'm eager to do that. I'm excited about my campaign. We're heading in the right direction. And although my campaign's heading in the right direction, I just don't feel the city is following suit. So that's one of the compelling reasons. Well, you're going to hear a lot of candidates talk about public safety, but if you really look and dive into the numbers, police staff, police department is certainly understaffed. Education, we're seeing a mass exodus on the education side. So that's just a couple issues. Seniors as well. You're looking at a population that's going to, by 2035, go from 7,400 or so to maybe 16,000. So we need to be cognizant, we need to be aware of that, make sure we have a plan for that. So there are many, many factors on the table, and I feel that I'll have a positive impact and certainly be able to have an impact on all those issues and more. And that's why I decided to continue to run, whether it be state rep, state senator, city council. I feel that, or I should say, I know that I'll certainly have an impact across the board. There's no question in my mind.
I'm going to ask you this. You come with a little bit of a different perspective, having been on the Haverhill School Committee in years past, and you had several terms in the Haverhill School Committee, if I'm not mistaken. And I would like to ask your take, which seems to have been minimized by many people, almost from a dismissive standpoint, as to the 81 teachers that happened to depart, along with, I guess, 7 or 8 administrators in the previous year. And I guess one of the city councilors, that's an incumbent city councilor, Joe Bevilacqua, that raised a grave concern for him. But the reaction you got to that was, that's not a big deal. We had many fewer people happen to exit in previous years, and it's about the average from what's happening elsewhere. The thing that I was fascinated by was when they asked about exit interviews, why did these people leave? And I guess the reports were, there were only 2 people that they interviewed, and the other people that they talked to, there was nothing consequential that was of value. What's missing in that scenario?
Well,
You've got 81 people leaving. Why is that?
And let me just back up. You certainly made a comment that, and I certainly echo Councilor Bevilacqua's concern. And this should be a concern. And of course, you're going to hear Excel. People are going to talk about Excel spreadsheets. And if I were running for re-election, maybe that's the kind of stuff I'd put out there too. If I'm trying to defend 81 or so teachers and administrators leaving. That's a grave concern to me, and always has been. As far as the exit interviews, we've asked for many, many years to do that. If you can't force them to do it, obviously, but no. I think it's a critical component to find out why, and I think it would be instrumental, and it would have a very clear picture on why they're leaving, and obviously teach us or certainly teach the school committee or give them some direction on where there could be some pitfalls and some major concerns to be they should address. So it is concerning to me. There's no question in my mind that there's an issue, and quite frankly, it may stem from leadership, but time will tell.
I understand that some of the people that happened to leave sent their letters of resignation not only to the administration but to members of the school committee. But the reasoning that they happen to give has not been made public. Is that typically the case, where the public is not made privy to that type of communication that may be given to the school committee?
I can't speak to any of those emails.
I'm just asking from a traditional standpoint, your experience.
Perspective. Usually, if you're getting those information, you're not making them public. But at the same time, as a school committee member, what you should be doing, if I can't speak for them, you should be reaching out to them. There's nothing stops you from reaching out and asking and some questions that could certainly educate them on why they're leaving. And some things may be said that they don't want to be made public, and maybe to educate some of the members of maybe what's going on and the true reasons why they're leaving.
Let me ask you this question. From a management standpoint now, typically, a counselor observes, assesses the situation, then decides to either maintain, modify, or eliminate. As an example, from what you've observed, what would you keep, what would you modify, and what would you eliminate? Can you give an example in any particular realm?
That's a tough one. I don't know. What would I eliminate? From a city council perspective, I'm not quite sure as far as eliminating, but what I would do is, as you're talking about, I could want to shift a little bit on priorities.
Sure.
I certainly wouldn't. I certainly don't agree with the increased tax, the tax classification that was done recently. You and I know that our tax rate is quite a bit. Just to be clear on what those numbers look like from my perspective, is over $7,000 in taxes, and I want to know what I'm getting for those taxes. So the average taxpayer, if you read it for an average home, you're in the real estate business, it's about $300 for every $330,000. Maybe the tax increases at maybe $196 or so. That didn't happen to me, and certainly I'm sure it didn't happen to you. But for $7,400 a year, what am I getting? I'm on septic and well. I live on Crystal Street. We have 80 teachers leaving our education system. We have facilities that buildings that are falling apart. We have personnel issues. We have morale that's down across the board as far as I'm concerned in the city. Police are understaffed. What am I getting for my $7,400? So those are big concerns of mine, and those are the issues that I'll be certainly hitting head on. The opioid crisis is a major issue. I'm proud to have the endorsement of Governor Baker, who will be at my event October 8th. And the Polito administration have been doing a great job on that issue. We have a major crisis, as far as I'm concerned, with that issue still. The fentanyl, the gang-related activity is a big issue. So those are the things I really want to focus on to make sure that I can turn that around. And that how you turn that around is with resources.
Well, with resources, and you're talking tax dollars.
Well, you can manage those. So we have to take a look at where those monies are, stabilization, free cash. We need to allocate, make sure the amount of resources that are truly available.
That's one of the things
get appropriated correctly.
That's one of the things I guess you'd modify. But if I ask you this, you're talking about the police department being understaffed, and that has been the case. We've had fewer police officers on staff than we've had in previous years. But at the same time, there's been an increase in the amount of technology that's been used, to the point of not only cameras throughout the various parts of the city, but also the predictive analysis item, which the city of Haverhill is one of the first ones to adopt, so much so that other much larger communities, even from outside the state, were looking at us to see how that was, and that's to basically predict, based upon statistics, where certain things may occur next, and then get ready for that to sort of intercept those types of negatives. And that being the case, you have that dynamic coupled with the fact that the mayor has also said that he's taking steps to add to the police force.
How is he doing that? Sorry to interrupt.
Well, with increasing the number of people on the police department.
Well, I guess the question I have for that is that the way that he's doing that, is he trying to make sure he negotiates the patrolmen out of civil services to do that? Is that something that he's going to do? So we need to talk about all that.
Okay.
And I own a couple small businesses here in Haverhill, and technology is wonderful, but at the end of the day, there's no question in my mind. I see every day down at Lafayette Square, police, ambulances, fire on a constant basis. Not every other day, it's every single day. And to be completely honest with you, Frank, we need manpower. It's that simple.
You're talking about shoe leather and eyeball to eyeball.
Absolutely.
Because, okay.
So if you look at us, the last numbers, and maybe it's been updated, but the numbers I'm seeing is 1.4, maybe with the additional 4 that were added previously. We're still under the state average, and we need to do a better job to do that, especially a city of our size, 36 square miles, maybe 400 plus miles of road. We need bodies on the street. There's no question in my mind.
Okay. Shaun Toohey, thank you very much for being here to answer these questions.
My pleasure.
And give us an update on what you've been doing and where you are right now and where you hope to go.
I will. Thanks so much.
Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
We hope that this program has been a point of reference for you. And until next time, my name is Frank Novak, and thanks very much for watching. And remember to vote on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th.